The Super Eagles moved a step closer to AFCON glory with a dramatic 2-1 win over Tunisia. From Eric Chelle bold tactical tweak to Wilfred Ndidi first ever Super Eagles goal to an attack that looked built for tournament football. We saw the best and the warning sign in one night. So let's break it down and discuss what we learned from Nigerian win over Tunisia. But before we dive into this video, if you are new here, welcome to the channel. But if you have been following me for a while, you know the drills. Help your boy get to that 10k subscriber mark. Let's dive into it. We're into the AFCON round of 16, and we didn't just qualify, we made a statement. A 3-2 win over Tunisia, built on bold coaching and ruthless attacking, showed the best of Super Eagles. And let's not lie to ourselves, at 3-0 up, we completely lost control. Considered twice, and nearly turned the statement night into a self-inflicted crisis. I'm happy with the win, but the warning signs are real. So sit tight because here are the 5 things we learned in this game. Starting with number 1. The perfect revenge. This wasn't another group stage win. This one meant something, and I don't care how anyone spins it. Beating Tunisia always carries weight for us. AFCON 2021 is still fresh. The last 16 exit, the shock, disbelief, and the feeling that Tunisia somehow had our number. That narrative has been hanging over the Super Eagles for years, and tonight we told it. We didn't just beat Tunisia, we dominated them. From the first whistle, this looked like a team playing with memory, purpose, and a point to prove. The scoreline says 3-2, but let's be honest with ourselves. The game was not as the final minutes made it look. The numbers backed it up. We had 59% of the ball. We created 5 big chances. We fired off 15 shots. That's not a smash and grab. That's control. That's intent. That's a team saying we are not here to survive. We are here to cook. What impressed me wasn't even the goals. It was the authority. We moved the ball with confidence. We pressed with aggression. And for long stretch, Tunisia looked like a side reacting to us rather than imposing themselves. That alone tells you how far we have come. And let's not downplay the settings. 5 goals, big crowd, high pressure AFCON night. This is exactly the kind of win that shifts beliefs. Not just for players, but for us Nigerians. More importantly, it kills the lingering psychological edge that Tunisia held over Nigeria. That chapter is closed. On a practical level, the win also clinched our place in the round of 16 and put us top of Group C with 2 wins from 2. That matters. It gives us breathing room, flexibility, and momentum heading into the knockout phase. But here is where I will be honest, and this is important. Momentum and belief are tournament currency. Yes, and a win like this absolutely gives Eric Chelle the license to keep building an identity. Opponents will look at this Nigerian side and think twice. We have announced ourselves as a serious threat. However, emotion alone won't carry us this far. As dominant as we were, the performance still came with worrying signs. Lapses in control, game management issue, moments where we made life harder than it needed to be. Those things don't disappear in knockout football. So yes, this was a perfect revenge. Yes, it was a statement. It also set the tone for a deeper lesson we have to address if we are serious about going all the way. Which leads us straight into the second thing we learned. Eric Chelle tactical tweaks. If there is any doubt about Eric Chelle adaptability, this game puts it to rest. Eric Chelle didn't just rotate for the sake of it. He tweaked with intent. From the starting 11 alone, you could tell this was a different plan. Wabali kept in goal, but we saw 2 key changes across the pitch. Oyemechi came in the left back. Frank Oyeka was restored to the midfield. And Chelle leaned fully into a 2-striker setup with Osimhen and Aquadam leading the line. On paper, it looks like a 4-1-2-1-2 diamond. And on the pitch, it worked exactly as designed. The structure gives us balance. Ndidi sat deep as the single pivot, shielding the back 4 and cleaning up dangers before Tunisia built momentum. In front of him, Frank Oyeka provided the engine, the connective tissue between defense and attack, while Iwobi operated higher, linking play and feeding the front 2. The midfield trio was key to why we controlled the large phases of the game. Frank Oyeka's performance deserves a special mention because it explains Eric Chelle thinking perfectly. This wasn't about flair, it was about function. Frank Oyeka finished with a 6.8 rating, and the number tells the clear story. 93% pass accuracy, 1 key pass, 7 defensive contribution, 4 interception, 2 clearance, 2 ground duel won. That's a midfielder doing the dirty work, keeping the tempo ticking, and allowing others to shine. I don't need Frank Oyeka to dominate headlines. I need him to make the system breathe, and that's exactly what he did. Further forward, the Osimhen-Aquadam partnership gave us something we have lacked at times: a clear 2-man focal point. Their movement stretched Tunisia centre-back, forced constant adjustment, and created spaces for runners like Lookman to exploit. Instead of isolating Osimhen, Eric Chelle gave him a partner and Tunisia paid the price. Out wide at fullback, Eric Chelle's selection of Bruno Osimhen over Zaidi Sanusi was another targeted decision that paid off. Osimhen didn't just defend, he competed. He finished with a 6.8 rating, contributing 7 defensive actions, 3 tackles won, 3 clearances, 4 recoveries, 8 ground duels contested. That's the kind of output that matters in tournament football. It gives us security without sacrificing intensity, especially against a side that looks to overload the wide area. What stood out to me most wasn't just the lineup, it was the timing of the substitution. Chelle showed his willing to adjust rules and personnel mid-game, rather than stubbornly repeating what worked previously. Pre-match, he hinted that his planned tactical shifts weren't just stopped, they were executed cleanly on the pitch. And that's the biggest takeaway here. Eric Chelle actions weren't just consecutive copy and paste choices. They were a targeted solution. Stability through Ndidi, energy and connectivity through Oyeka, and mobility threat through Lookman. Defensive reliability via Osimhen. When a coach makes 2 or 3 clear, intelligent adjustments and the players buys into it, you get control, dominance and results. And that's what happened tonight. Which brings me to the third thing we learned. The attack is AFCON-ready. If there's one thing this game confirmed to me, is that this attack is built for tournament football. Nigeria didn't just score 3 goals, we scored them with purpose, variety and control. The front line didn't just rely on chaos or moment of luck, it functioned as a unit, each piece amplifying the other. Victor Osimhen set the tone. His opening goal was a classic Osimhen, a powerful header, relentless movement and total commitment in the box. But beyond the goal, his overall influence stood out. He finished this night with a 7.8 rating, contributing 1 goal, 1 assist, 5 shots, 1 on target. That's not just a striker finishing chances, that's a striker driving the attack. Osimhen occupied centre-back, won duels, constantly dragged defenders into areas that they didn't want to be. His hold-up play and off-the-ball movements created spaces for others, especially Ademola Lookman to attack. And then there is Lookman. If I had to describe his goal in one word, it would be perfection. The timing, the positioning, the composure. Lookman didn't just finish the game, he owned it. He dropped a ridiculous 9.1 rating and the numbers are borderline outrageous. 1 goal, 2 assists, 2 big chances created, 4 key passes, 2 shots, 1 on target. That's elite output. That's a player operating with total clarity in the final third. His movement between the line, his intelligence in finding space, and his decision-making in final pass completely dismantled Tunisia's defensive structure. What I love most was how connected the attack looked. We controlled large portion of the game, around 58% ball possession, and we outshot Tunisia heavily. More importantly, we created high chances, not speculative efforts. Lookman's goal was a textbook example of space exploitation, while Osimhen's presence ensured defenders were constantly preoccupied. This wasn't a one-man show, it was an attacking system working as intended. And why it matters, tournament football is ruthless. You don't always dominate matches. Sometimes your defense will be tested, sometimes momentum will swing against you. In these moments, goals win ties. Having a reliable scoring axis, Osimhen as the vocal point, Lookman attacking channels with perfect timing, and constant supply from advanced midfielders gives us massive edge. It means we can outscore opponents even when things aren't perfect at the back. If Eric Chelle keep the supply line intact and structure balance, this Nigerian attack can hurt anyone in this tournament. But moving on to the fourth thing we learned, Wilfred Ndidi's masterclass. Some performers don't need hype, they need acknowledgement. Wilfred Ndidi put in a reminder, not that we ever really forgot, of why he remains the midfield anchor of this Super Eagles side. His headed goal from set piece just after the halftime didn't just come out of nowhere. It underlines 2 truths. He still runs the middle of the pitch and is genuine threat at both ends. He finished the night with an 8.4 rating and the numbers tells a completely different story. 1 goal, 90% pass accuracy, 74 touches, 2 shots, 1 on target, 12 defensive contribution, 6 tackle 1, 2 interception, 3 clearance, 5 recovery, 9 ground duel 1, 2 area duel 1. That's efficiency, that's control. But beyond the goals, this was a classic Ndidi performance. The kind that don't always trend, but wins you tournament games. He screened the defense intelligently, mopped up second balls and constantly positioned himself to keep Tunisia momentum before it could grow. What impressed me the most was his discipline in possession. Ndidi didn't overplay, he kept things simple. moved the ball forward quickly, and allowed more creative players to operate higher up the pitch. The balance is priceless in AFCON football. When Ndidi dominates the middle third, we become a different team. We are harder to play through, we move the ball quicker, and transition faster from defense to attack. That's not accidental, that's structural. Tactically, this performance reinforced something important. You can build a tournament spine around Wilfred Ndidi. His presence stabilized the backline and give attacking players the license to commit forward without fear. He's the security blanket that allows us to play with ambition. But there is also a responsibility that comes with that. We have to manage him properly, protect him from unnecessary bookings, manage his minutes smartly, and continue to use set piece as a weapon to exploit his area strengths. Because when Ndidi is fit, focus and dominance, Nigeria's ceiling rises significantly. Which brings me to the fifth and the most important thing we learned. We nearly bottled it. Now for the uncomfortable part, because we can't lie to ourselves. At 3-0 up, this game should have been dead and buried. Instead, we let Tunisia back, conceded twice, and turned a statement win into a nervy finish. Taobi pulled one back in the 74th minute. Then Abidi's penalty in the 87th minute forced us into survival mode. For a team with knockout ambition, that's simply not good enough. This wasn't about quality, it was about control. After the third goal, we lost focus. Our concentration dipped, our set-piece organization wobbled. And tactically, we looked unsure how to manage the final phase of the game. We went from dominance to damage limitation far too quickly. That's a recurring vulnerability, not a one-off incident. Let's call it what it is. Poor set-piece defending and marking, a lack of clear game management substitution, a mental drop-off once the job looked done. Holding a lead in tournament football requires different mindset. You can't keep playing the same way at 3-0 as you did at 1-0. The shape has to change. The personnel sometimes has to change. The communication from the bench has to be crystal clear. This is where Eric Chelle still has work to do. And quickly, we got away with it this time. In knockout round, we might not. So yes, we are through. We dominated and we deserve the win. But if we don't clean up these moments, the margins will punish us. Nigeria look dangerous, organized and confident. But champions don't just know how to win, they know how to close. And that's the next step for this Super Eagles team. And that's the end of the video, my friends. Make sure you like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. You go be.